Hello viewers, you're watching IAMBEST TV. My name is Deborah Dambaba, welcoming you on the Ladies Roundtable. And today, the topic of our discussion is the causes of divorce among young people in Nigeria. Today, divorce cases have increased drastically among young people in Nigeria. And I'm not going to be discussing this topic alone. I have some guests in the studio with me, in person of Mrs. Maimuna Emmanuel Duza, CEO of Mona Empire, and Mr. Papa Sam Obadan, the CEO of Papa Sam Obadan Company. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
So you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, we're pleased to have you on our Ladies Roundtable today. You know, talking about divorce among young people in Nigeria, we cannot talk about divorce without mentioning marriage. So, what is marriage, if I must ask? Mrs. Maimuna.
Okay, marriage is a legal union between a man and a woman to form a family. You know, we have different definitions of marriage.
Yeah.
It depends on how you see it or how you view it. But the most definition, the most important that must come in between is the existence of a man and a woman living together for the purpose of recreation.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be the basis of marriage, which I think we'll discuss that in other topic. But that is the main definition we can give marriage.
Okay, Mr. Papa Sam, is there any age that one can ascertain before getting married?
First, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Age is very important, however, it is not the yardstick because people get mature at different ages. There are people who are 50 but are not mentally ready for marriage, and there are people who are 18 and are ready for marriage.
Sure.
They may be mentally ready, but their bodies may not be naturally ready. You know? So it just varies. I think a person's body has to be ready, their minds have to be ready, and sometimes other factors too can come into play, resources, you know, dreams, visions and all of that. But you really cannot say this is the age at which, but sometimes, especially mentally, there are certain level of knowledge, wisdom, or understanding you can never get to until you get to a certain age. For example, you cannot find a 4-year-old ripe for marriage, no matter what they know.
Yeah.
So it's relative, if you ask me.
Okay, talking about divorce. You know, most people will like, okay, I'm divorcing my husband, I'm divorcing my wife. Now, what is that word, divorce? Papa Sam.
Okay. Because she has said it's a legal union, I would like to say it's a legal separation of that union.
Well,
simple.
Okay, so now we roll it down to our topic today, which is causes of divorce among young people. What do you think are the causes of this divorce? You know, young people go into marriage, they see themselves, they love each other, and they say, "Whoa, I want to get married." And finally they got married, and before you know, 1 month, 2 months, they're talking about divorce. So what are these causes of divorce?
There are so many causes of divorce in our society today. But the first thing I want to say is that most of our youth today go into marriage in lust, not in love. Okay. That is the first thing. And then secondly, whether we like it or not, finance is very, very important in marriages today. So you would sometimes, when you are in lust, I want to use that word lust because that is the major. When there is pure love in marriage, no matter the situation and circumstances, you will hold your partner's hand and try to cross the mountains with him or her, no matter the situation. But when you go into marriage in lust, seriously, those kind of marriages don't last these days. One, there are so many factors you have to consider, which is finance, which is, just as he mentioned, is the person mentally ready? Because age is not all about the mature rate that makes you to get married. Your mental stability is very, very important. So it's one of the causes. And then sometimes there is we lie to each other these days.
Whoa.
A lot of people lie to each other. And I've come to understand that, especially in us, the women, we love men that lie to us than men that tell us the truth.
Wow, that's funny.
So many people have fell victim of such circumstances. And again, I will mention, I want to be called Mrs. You know, this word Mrs. has caused so many people to go into the wrong homes because they want to be called a Mrs. And in our northern part of the country, another major causes is that, you know, in the northern side, when a young girl is getting married, you have a house to yourself. If you're from the rich background, you have a car, you have a kitchen, you have almost everything set for you from your parents' side. And so women are so eager and anxious to have all those things called their own. So you see somebody, all he's after is those boxes of clothes and stuff that they will do so that you get to mingle with who is who in the society. And when you go into marriage, you now begin to see that, this is not, marriage is beyond all these things that I mentioned. And seriously, any marriage that does not even have finance, no matter the love, it will be shaking. Talk more of when, you know, the love is not even there. And those are few of the factors that are really causing problems.
Now you mentioned finance. Are you saying that money is the ingredient to love, or in a marriage? Do you think?
It add.
Okay.
Seriously, it add to it. But because there is no way I'll be married to you, or we'll be married and we can solve few of our problems. So aside love, finance is very, very important. It add to it in both ways. And these days, I don't see marriage in just the man's side or the female side. Before, it could be that, okay, the man is the head. Yes, he is the head. The man is the sole provider of the home. Yes. But I want to tell our young couples today that it has changed. You know, marriage is a 50-50 thing. To me, we both have to work for it. I will have my parts to play. My husband has his parts to play. And once we try to do this, to balance it, without one feeling cheated or feeling it is not my responsibility, then that marriage will work. But when you begin to start feeling that this is the responsibility of the man, this is the responsibility of the woman, you begin to have issues. Marriage should be a way that there should be compromise. Then there should be helping hand into it. There are times that, okay, my husband will not be able to do some things. If I have the means to do it, why not? The world shouldn't hear about it. If this is my schedule and I can do it, and my husband can do it, that is love, genuine marriage, my husband should do that for me. And then these are the little things that you do that keeps the marriage going. Okay.
So you won't go against those ladies that say, I want to get married to a well-doing man?
Well, but that is why we said something. You have to be mentally ready. It's not all about the riches. I didn't call riches. I said finance. Finance is different from riches. Yes, you need money that you can pay medical bill of 500 naira or 1,000 naira. My husband can be having headache now, and both of us can provide 500 naira for Panadol. You know, those are the things, the basic things I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the riches today. Yes, there are women that go for the riches. Does the marriage last? No. But let there be love, but aside the love, be able to do one or two things in the house.
To contribute to
very
his wallet.
Important. Very important.
Okay, coming to you, Papa Sam. What do you think are the causes of divorce among young people these days?
Oh well, she said many. I'd like to say there are over 1,000 reasons, and you cannot exhaust that topic. But I think what we're trying to do here is to just go to the basics, you know, as much issues as they affect us. I think one of the basic challenges we have is people do not define what they want, who they are, what they want, and what they want to go for. That is one of the very basic issues we have, and why people, you know, divorce.
End up,
like she said, a lot of women want to bear Mrs. in this particular generation, I cannot speak for the ones past, but in this particular generation, a lot of women are looking for helpers, not lovers. A lot of men are looking for sex, are looking for leadership, not really a home or an institution that they can well manage, you know. So there's this loss of priority, if you get what I mean. People enter into this thing for themselves.
Okay.
A girl wants to get married so she can speak where other women are speaking. A man wants to get married so he can be respected. There are benefits that come with being married. And these are some of the things that a lot of people just want to enjoy. You know. So money is another problem.
Yeah.
This generation is not a patient one. 17-year-old boys want to drive Benz.
Yeah, true.
Girls want
because
to slay,
they call it jets.
You know. So
generation.
These are certain things people are looking for. That's why they even go into marriage. And once you begin to see these faulty desires, the system is definitely going to crash. Okay. So I think the interest is one of the things we need to face, to talk about. Why do people want to get married? What is your reason for wanting to get married? Is it okay to stay without getting married? Will you die if you don't marry? People do not answer these questions. So marriage is like an escape route for a lot of people to enjoy things like sex, societal respect, money, and all of that. So as long as these basic things are wrong, you begin to see, and I like to say impatience is one of the biggest problems in this generation. Look at our parents. You know, when your mom tells you, be patient with your husband. Your father did worse things to me. It was patient, you know. She's not lying to you. We're not saying bear all the things your mothers bear, but we are saying that if they could be patient and it got them where they are, if we cannot be patient, we can't even get to where they are. Talk more of going farther than them. You understand? So patience is one of the biggest problems, because if your desires are wrong, as soon as you get in and realize, like she has said, that the things you were thinking are in marriage and not in marriage, you get discouraged and immediately you want to leave. So intentions are wrong. Once you enter, it is not what I thought it was. Then you want to go out.
Well, that's a great one. Now, was there a point in your marriage that you felt you want to divorce your wife? It sounds funny, but it's true.
It sounds funny, but sorry to say, I'm not trying to be rude. The joke is on you. You know what? I'm laughing because you're asking if there has ever been a point. A point is an understatement. Okay. Lots of points. I mean, we all get there. We all get there. Don't let anybody fool you. Don't be fooled by social media. It's, for me, it's even been more than a decision, or a thought rather. I've told my wife, pack your bags and leave my house several times. She has told me I'm done with this several times. It happens. It happens every day. I mean, so these are certain things we don't picture until you get into marriage. And then you just begin to discover things for yourself. So you decide to either be patient, learn and make it work, or you just walk out. It's always a decision. So,
but what pushed you to ask her, pack your things and go? Is it the impatience that you have said, or the finance, or what is it actually?
A lot of things. Impatience, there's immaturity. You go into this thing and you have a picture of what you want, and then when you get in, it's not exactly what you thought it would be.
But before you went there, you already had the thoughts that, okay, it's all about tolerating each other, have patience with one another. So why does things turn out to be the other way?
The thought doesn't give you the mental stability. It doesn't give you the maturity. Experience does. You know, so there are certain things you would look at people and say, no, this man didn't handle this thing well. If it was me, you really cannot say until you get there and it becomes you. So I've heard of stories, I've heard of marriage not being a bed of roses. You all hear those things, even right from the altar on the wedding day. But you get in, and it's just a totally different one.
Okay, Mrs. Dangana, how has early marriage contributed to divorce?
Early marriage has contributed to divorce due to lack of immaturity and lack of patience. Because I wouldn't say early marriage is too bad. Like I want to give a practical example about myself. I got married as young as 23. And I had my first daughter that before 25 I was a mother. and the marriage didn't last. You know why? Because if you sit down today and you ask us why, we don't have good reason, and the reason was immaturity. And we were both okay. Yes, I was young, and he was older because he was almost 10 years older than me.
Wow.
So you should expect that he should have been able to handle some aspect of life that I couldn't handle at that time. But just what he said, it didn't work out. And I've come to, I don't encourage divorce, but when it has to do with abuse, emotionally or physically, and you can't withstand it, it's better you just call it a quit than to, at the end of the day, end up a victim of violence or a victim of abuse,
yes.
or you end up dead. In whatever, it can be either ways. But the most important thing I always tell people is marry your best friend.
Which is very true.
Yes. When you marry your friend, I'm married again, I'm privileged, very few people get that. I'm privileged, I'm married again to my best friend, you know. And being married to my best friend doesn't mean that we still don't have issues.
Okay.
Sometimes we have issues that are even more than the earlier time that I was married. But there are ways we handle those issues. How do we handle those issues? Because he's my friend. And sometimes it's a volcano's problem or so. He stepped out, I step out. By the time he goes outside, before he comes back, he's missing me already because I am his best friend. He has a story of something that happened outside and he wants to gist me.
Yes.
I have a story that happened to me in my office and I'm eager to gist him. Why? Because we are best friends. If you notice something in life, best friends hardly go apart. And that is why I always advise people, before you get married, marry your friend. Love, whether you like it, I will add for you with broken, whether you like her or you don't like her, love will go. Love will just naturally die off. But that friendship will keep the marriage.
Talking about best friends, what if you're not privileged to have best friends? Are you expected to wait for as long as the both of you become best friends?
Make your husband your best friend or make your wife your best friend before you go into that marriage. That you just make it friendship, and the love should be something that cements the marriage.
Okay, Mr. Papa Sam Obadan, how have you tried to remain married?
Okay, I'll speak as a man.
Yes.
If there's anything I always tell myself is that I'm the leader of my home. I'm the head of my home.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong in my house, it is me. So your wife does certain crazy things, very annoying things, very upsetting things. You get frustrated, you scream, you shout, you try to enforce change. It doesn't work. At the end of the day, you tell yourself, as a man, if this fails, it is not her home that failed. It's my home as a leader. So that thought keeps me pulling everything back when they try to scatter, because I must not fail in the marriage.
Okay.
So that is the single thought that keeps me.
So that's the single thought that keeps you till date.
Of course.
Okay, thank you so much for having you. Lastly, on this segment is, what are your words, your final advice to unmarried and young people who have had issues or who are even planning to go into marriage? What are your advice?
Don't rush into marriage. Take your time. There is no competition in marriage. There is no award for the best marriage on earth. So take your time. And the most important thing, please marry your friend.
Okay.
Okay, from my part, I would say, ask yourself what you really want in marriage. When you do that, there's a more important question to ask yourself. What do you have to offer the person you want to get married to? Because if you enter for yourself, if the person doesn't find what they want from you, you're still going to crash. And most people, like I said from the beginning, enter these things for themselves. You don't try to make your partner better. You're not trying to make the person happy. You just want to go have sex, rest, eat good food, sleep, be cuddled and all of that. That is the first issue that we have. What do I want? What do I have to offer?
Yes.
And never go into this thing thinking you're not going to hit the road. The tire will hit the road, the rubber will hit the road. Always know that it can work out. There's no marriage that cannot work out.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for having you on the Ladies Round Table. Thank you so much. Do have a wonderful day. All right, it has been a great time with my guests on the Ladies Round Table. Yes, I hope you enjoyed the segment. I hope you have enjoyed your time. Okay, and those people thinking of going into divorce, it is not a good idea. Stay in your husband's home. You alone can make it work. You're watching IAMBEST TV. My name is Deborah Dambaba. Do stay tuned.